Have you ever wondered if you had a gun, like a really fast automatic gun with a really big magazine and like a really big like round? I don't know what it's called, rounds, bullets. I don't know too much about guns. And if you were to fight a monster, could you kill it? Could you and a group of friends with the same type of gun kill that thing? Well, in 2002, we had something like this happen. We had a group of Special Force Green Berets. They fought a giant and they won. Before I go into that story, I just want to invite you to like and subscribe my channel. I want to like talk about paranormal stuff, and I want to do this full time, and I just enjoy telling stories, even though I'm terrible at it, but I'm getting better, and I'm hoping that with time I stop stuttering and making mistakes. But you know, it's a craft. You have to get better at talking, and I don't read nearly enough, so I suffer as a consequence. So like and subscribe. And if you have any recommendations for like how to be a better YouTuber or just shows in general, like content matter, just hit me up. You can message me at Captain Hokage. So you go Captain_Hokage on Instagram. And just message me. I'll answer every single person that messages me. And we'll just, tell me what you think and like what ghost stories you want to talk about. Even if it's a private story, tell me that. And I'll probably cover it among a volume of other people's stories. And I just like the paranormal. So without further ado, let's begin the freaking story. So in 2002, there was a group of missing army soldiers, and the soldiers went missing and they couldn't find them. So they sent out special forces because they never sent out a signal that they were under attack. They just disappeared. Usually if a group of soldiers get killed, they'll signal that they're in a fight, and then they'll go, find them for backup or whatever. And in this instance, there was nothing. There was nothing, nada. And they send out special forces to deal with it because it's unusual. So they send out the special forces, and they're there for a couple days looking in the general area. They're I think 4 kilometers around the area where they went missing. And they go up, they find this little pathway, right? And it's a little tiny dirt road, like a goat trail that goes up the side of a mountain. And they go up into it, and they find a huge entrance to a cave. And inside the cave, there's it goes a couple feet, like a couple dozen feet. And when you get to the edge, there's a steep drop off, like a hill, like the cave turns into a hill inside. And while they're looking, a spear comes flying out and kills this soldier named Dan. Dan is impaled by this spear. It's an iron tipped spear, and it goes through him like cheese. And this monster comes out, and it's like a 10 to 15 foot, 1,100 pounds, like giant. It's a huge reddish giant, and it has a giant red beard. It has long red hair. It's got 6 toes on each foot and 6 fingers on each hand. And this thing is vicious, and it goes to grab the spear again so it can impale another soldier. But by this time, all the soldiers are out of shock, and they just light it up. It just pop, 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 scoom, pop, pop, and a pop, 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 and the soldiers are able to kill it effectively. And without much effort, it's only able to kill one. Now, how was it able to kill a whole battalion of army soldiers? I mean, they have the similar guns, I'm assuming. And how did this thing defeat them? I don't think it did. I think a bunch of other giants helped it, and this one it just happened to be away from the group. And these soldiers, they were able to light it up, and they killed it before it could go get reinforcements. So they called 2 helicopters, and that kind of knocks a hole in my story, because wouldn't they have heard the commotion, and wouldn't they come over? Maybe they were in another cave system, because there's a ton of caves in Afghanistan, because there's a ton of mountains. So there's a shitload of caves where these creatures could hide. And they call 2 helicopters. One of the helicopters picks up the giant, the other one the men. And then they're supposed to write reports, like after battle reports, where they just kind of give you the literal thing that happened, incident. And they say hey, we got attacked. Dan got killed by a giant, and it had 6 toes and 6 fingers and all that, and on each hand. And the superiors are like, no, you got to change that. You got to say that it's a person, that you fought a group of people and you killed it, or a lone person. And they're like, why? And they're like, and you're going to sign this NDA. And they wouldn't explain why. They just said, just change the story. We're not going to accept it until you change it. And then they made them sign I'm assuming a military NDA, a non-disclosure agreement. And then that was the end of it until 2016. Mr. K, the narrator, the one that broke the story, explains like, yeah, this thing happened. This story is real, and it had been like an urban legend in the armed forces, or at least the army, where they talked about this. And Mr. Ballin, who's a great YouTuber, he said that he heard about it because he's a Navy SEAL, and he heard about it. So I'm almost wondering, I've got to ask a few military friends if they've ever heard of this story. And if you've ever heard of the story before 2016, let me know in the comments or message me on Instagram, Captain_Hakagi. And I want to hear about this. Like, has anybody heard this story before? But that's pretty much the story. It's a short story, and I'm actually this is the first video ever where I'm not just recording my face and me telling a story. I'm actually gonna put pictures and stuff, and then I'm gonna really edit it, try to get rid of all the cuts and stuff. Like, I'm gonna do a couple jump cuts. I'm just, I'm learning how to do this YouTube thing, so I want to make sure that the videos come out nice and there's no more uhs in it. So, as I say, yeah. So that's pretty much it. So I'm really excited about the future of this channel. I hope you join me on this journey, and I can't wait to hear more. Hear what you guys think about this story. It's probably one of the most interesting giant stories, and I don't really hear too many giant stories. Most stories are about ghosts or Bigfoot or aliens, like abductions and shit. So this one's kind of cool. It's a little bit different, and I think I've covered ghost. I've covered I haven't covered werewolves. I've covered Bigfoot. And what else did I cover? Oh, yeah, Bigfoot. I think now I've covered giants. So let's cover like a vampire next time. There's actually a cool story about vampires, but it's super short. So maybe I could do that one next. So, all right. Well, I love you guys. Thank you so much for listening. Please like and subscribe. Give me suggestions in the comments. Like, I need cool content stories, and I have a couple more, but I want to get the audience involved more. So, see ya.